Okay. Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Monday night class, 18th October 2021. I'm gonna be, like I was saying, I'm gonna be dealing with David Icke a little bit tonight, and some of the stuff that he was talking about. It's in conjunction with the book that I had recommended, Biggest Secret, David Icke, The Biggest Secret. So with that being said, I'm gonna say, ask everybody to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button. And this is a non-Messianic channel where we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh is the Old Testament. The Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai by the Lord of hosts. So shalom and welcome everyone. We're going to do our moment of silence, prayer and psalms, and then do a little current events, and go into some Q&A, and then go into a lesson. Okay. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servant David and Solomon, as Samuel and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad, for you possess the power to turn us. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments and your testimony and your statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea, hear and do, O Lord, and hide not thy face from us, for we need you so much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay. Let's do the Psalms. Okay. I'm going to do Psalms 108. It's a Psalm of David. And it says, Israel, look to God for help. It says, O God, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise even with my glory. Awake, pastries and harps. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people. I will sing praises unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great above the heavens, and thy truth reaches unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, and thy glory above all the earth, that thy beloved may be delivered, saved with thy great hand, with thy right hand, and answer me. God has spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem and mete out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine, Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Over Philistine will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Will not thou, O God, who has cast us off, and will not thou, O God, go forth without hopes? Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through God we shall do valiantly, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies. So that's Psalms 108. Anybody get anything out of that? Okay. We're shining a light on verses 7, 8, 9, and 7, 8, 9, and 10. So it says in 7, God has spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. David talking. I will divide Shechem. I will mete out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine. Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Then 9 says, Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Over Philistine will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? So when you look at that, you go to Numbers. Numbers chapter 24. See, it's like a precept. We know this is a song of David talking, so this is like a precept to it. Psalm number 24, verse 15. This is the parable. This is a prophecy that Balaam prophesied about David. 24, number 24 and 15. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, have said, and the man whose eyes are open have said, he have said, which heard the words of God, knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw in a vision the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. Here you go, 17. I shall see him, but not nigh. I shall behold him, but not now. So this before David came, he prophesied of David coming, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, a scepter is a king. King has a scepter. Shall rise out of Israel. Here you go. And shall smite the corners of Moab, destroy all the children of Sheol, and Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession to his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. See that? When you keep on reading down, you're going to deal with Philistine and Amalek, and you go back to Psalms 108, verse 9. Moab is my wash spot. This is David talking. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Over Philistine will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who have led me into Edom? Lord of hosts. So that's what I connect. When I read that, that's the first thing I think about is prophecy that Balaam made about David. Anybody else got anything?
Well, yeah. Verse 13, through God we shall do violence to thee, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies. That's a lot of bows. That's no fear at all. That's just ripping through something.
Right, exactly. He know for a surety the Lord gonna be with me.
Right.
Yeah, that's how we gotta get to that point.
Yeah.
Right. It's like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they put him in the fire. Before they put him in there, they said, You can put us in here. Our God gonna deliver us. Right. Do what you want.
That's right.
So they knew. The same way David talking right here.
About the way it's getting now with this, what's going on.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. Ain't that something? Yeah, that anybody get anything out of Sunday night? Okay.
I missed it. I know it was good though.
Okay. Yeah. Did anybody get anything out of that?
Is your volume low or it might be
my volume?
Phone? Yeah. Is it my phone or is it?
Yeah. Let me see. Phone. Okay. How that sound?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, let me see where I'm at. Oh yeah, anybody got any current events? Okay, I got a few things.
I was gonna say shalom, everyone. Colin Powell passed away. think he was 84,
Yeah.
but he was fully, as the young man say, he was full of the prune juice, and he still passed away from that, you know.
Right.
So we should know, don't believe what they say.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the first thing hit my mind was he on that juice.
Right.
Right.
Is that something?
So it
That's
don't
a
matter if you got it or not,
yeah, that's a witness.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And the Lord of hosts is the only one keeping us.
Oh,
Hallelujah.
right, exactly. Right. Right.
Hallelujah.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of the things I was getting ready to bring up. It says, can you see that?
Yes.
It says Colin Powell was vaccinated against COVID, but suffered from a cancer that makes the shot less effective. Colin Powell was 84, died Monday morning due to complications from COVID-19. Powell was fully vaccinated against the virus, his family said in a statement. Powell was elderly and on risk for severe jab and suffered from the multiple melanoma, a blood cancer that studies show can make the shots less effective. Okay, so all right, let me go to the next one. Yeah, I thought this here was pretty interesting. Uh, just like I said, another witness. Can you see that?
It's trying to come up. Yes.
You see what that is, right?
Is that a tail?
Yeah,
Oh, a snake? A tail?
it's a man sitting in a chair.
OMG. Okay.
I'm trying to see
Wow.
what's going on. You say you can see that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
he
trying to
saw.
figure out. Yeah, it was let me go back. Uh, okay. Um, hmm. Oh man, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it says so it's saying that in the article that let me go back over here. I don't know what's going on, but it says in the article that millions of years ago humans had tails. And then through mutation we lost the tail. So what it is they had tails. That's what the deal is. They had tails. So you say, what you talking about? Well, let's go to the next one and look at this next picture. And they're always talking about it. So let's look at it. They even got pictures all through history of them having tails. Some of them growing tails. But and they turn around and try to say we had tails. But so let's look at this right here. Look at that neck. Can you see that?
Yes.
See that neck? Now, don't a tail go with that neck?
Yeah.
Come
Yes.
on. So who had a tail? See that? That's serpentine. So the serpent when he came in the garden, he had a tail. So see that? Look at it. So which the tail go with us or with this thing right here? Come on. Ain't that something?
Yeah, I heard they have a lot of tails in America. They just don't report it.
Right. And then they'll have surgery and get it cut off, you know. Yeah. And that's what I was saying all along about all the defects, you know, and that's what's going on in Galilee. You know, when Caesarion came there, they need the help. They need somebody to lay hands on them. The Most High, you know, you don't see nobody laying no hands on nobody. And then like we read what David knew what was up with them, why they was defective. You know where they came from, their origins, and he was doing his best to wipe them out. His soul, he said, David's soul hated the lame and the blind and the humpbacks and all that. He had a problem with them. Okay, and that's the reason he was telling us don't intermingle with them. Don't give your daughters to one of them things, and don't give your son when they don't want anything. He didn't want us dealing with them because that very thing right there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah, maybe us click the wrong button. So yeah, that's why he was telling them don't he want us intermingle with them. So let me go to another video.
I was going to say on that about, usually when you hear about babies born with tails, it's usually like over in India and other places like that. You
Right,
don't hear about it here in the US. They usually keep that hush hush. But I don't know, maybe
right,
a year or two ago, so I had watched a video of a baby born in India with a tail.
right, exactly. Right,
And they're trying to say that all babies are born with if they are born with the tail, it usually falls off after 8 weeks. But that's not even normal.
right. That go back to what I was saying about the in Isaiah 44, Adam's descendants. Adam's descendants that descended from him, they when it got to Noah, the reason the flood came was the Most High had to wipe them out because it was only Noah and Shem left. If he hadn't came when he did, there wouldn't have been no more people, no more descendants of Adam. So he had to bring the flood and cut them off. So it's the same. So when you start talking about uh, this thing they be doing, we have a pineal gland. We know that pineal gland is an earth link. It's a portal. That's the reason why we having dreams. That's our connection with heaven. So they start doing this yoga and this meditation, talking about the waking up your pineal gland, your third eye, and the Kundalini. Well, the Kundalini is a serpentine. That's serpentine talk. You know what I'm saying? So that's tied to them. They backbone, they nervous system is tied to that serpentine stuff. So when you come to the jab, like I was saying, Most High pouring His Spirit out on us in Isaiah 44 1-5, and recouping Jacob's seed. Well, that's what the jab about. Them recouping their seed. They're gonna respond to that R negative. That's where the R negative come from. Like I was saying, the R negative is come from the Neanderthal, and they trying to tell you they done disconnected by saying Neanderthal. They done disconnected Neanderthal from history, from prophecy in the Bible. But when you understand that the Neanderthal they talking about is Genesis chapter 6. That's who that is, and that's what all this old stuff they putting in this, and what they're doing with the jab is tied to that. You know, it's going to from me looking at it, and it's going to roll off of the Israelite like a water on a duck back. but it's gonna connect to that RA negative. That's what they're looking for.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. And like I said, people want to, this ain't no, all of a sudden, people that been seeing what's going on here lately, seeing how the direction that the world going in, and thinking that it's sci-fi all of a sudden. It's been sci-fi all along. You just ain't know sci-fi because they didn't hoodwink you understand all the scriptures. Anytime you dealing with angels and Jacob waking up or having dreams on and seeing a ladder going up to heaven, that's sci-fi. It's always been sci-fi from day one. They just can throw us off. But now with the prophecies unfolding in front of our eyes, we see that it was sci-fi all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
All these movies they've been making for years and really putting it in our faces, but we really hadn't been paying any attention to it. It's about to come to reality. We getting ready to actually witness it.
Right. That's the way it was all the time. Like I said, in Daniel, when Gabriel come down and Daniel said he flew swiftly and caught him by the time of the evening sacrifice. That's sci-fi. Not angelic beings. So it ain't, this ain't nothing new. So you should, when you understand that, you connect it to what's going on now. And he's telling us that they, it's the angelic beings over these different nations. So that construct thing went away. So where they getting this information from, and where they getting all this technology from? They getting it from these angels and these wicked spirits, beings. Like I said, a lot of times in the scriptures, that's who the Most High Lord of Hosts talking to when he says shepherds. He's talking to these angels. They're the ones that's they over certain people, certain nations. They're the ones leading them. And a lot of the time when you write it out scriptures, you talking to them, directly talking to them. Let me give you an example. Go ahead.
It go back to science. They're scientists.
Right, exactly. Right. So yeah, you should be surprised whenever we say, no. Let me give you an example. Isaiah 14, I think it is. Let me see. No, not 14. 28. Let me see. Might not be 28. Ezekiel. I think it's in Ezekiel. Let me find it.
Ezekiel 28.
28, yeah. See? Yeah, Ezekiel 28. Let me see. Yeah, so he's talking to the prince of Tyre. Notice it's Prince of Tyrus. But when he started talking to him, he says, starting at verse 10, 28:10, thou shalt die the death of an uncircumcised by the hands of the strangers, and for I have spoken it, says the Lord God. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon King of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus says the Lord, thou sealest up the song, full of wisdom, perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God, every precious stone. So when you read that, we know this King of Tyrus ain't been in Eden. You ain't that old. So you see, he's talking to Lucifer. Samuel, that's who he's talking to. That's who he's talking. And like I said, they shapeshifted. They're able to shapeshift. So when you understand that and go back to history, Greek history, and there's, like I said, Zeus on the mountain, Zeus on Mount Olympus, and Zeus got all these kids, children all over the place. So how he getting them? Well, the same way that serpent did in the garden. He went into Eve and got Cain. Well, this is what Zeus doing. And so how he getting these kids? Because he killing the king and then he coming to the woman looking like the king. The king gone off the wall, like in the movie Alexandra, Olympus, or the Alexander's father was Philip, kept telling Olympia, that was his wife's name, kept telling Alexandra that Zeus wasn't none of his daddy. I mean, that Philip wasn't none of his daddy. She said she had a romantic encounter with Zeus, and that Zeus was his daddy. And, you know, they had wrote her off as being crazy, but she kept telling him over and over again all his life that, you know, he ascended from heaven. He's a demigod. She kept telling him that. And so they show in the movie, like I said, you want to go watch it, but they show you in the movie this big old thunderbird fly up. But she way up on top of this tower. And, you know, go back to the dragon. There's always the dragon at a castle. He got a damsel up in the castle, and he stole everybody's money. He got it down in the bottom of the castle. So that's Lucifer. So they show you the tower up there where the prince is at. This big old bird fly up there, and then when he get up there, he transform into a man, stand on his feet, he looking just like Philip, and go in there where she at, and have relations with her. Then he leave, and the whole time she thinking that it was she thinking Philip, but Philip off to war. He didn't showed up in there as looking like him, and so that brings this scriptures right here to life, because he's talking to a king in Tyrus. You know, but everything he's saying is Lucifer. Yeah. And at that primate, okay, let me see where we at. Any comments on that? Okay. Play this right here.
Greetings and salutations, family. I'm Dr. Jamil Harrell Selms, and I'm a proud contributor to the African Diaspora News Network. Please make sure that you share, click like, and click the bell. Also, don't forget to subscribe so that you can be notified every time we upload new content. Today's commentary is regarding knowing what's going on and paying attention to what really matters. First, I will tell you, I cannot stand the word matters because it has been run in the ground for the last year and a half, actually 2-3 years, and I can't stand that, but I digress. I used it. I want to inform you of some information that was sent to me. I get a lot of information sent to, from all across the country. I thank you all for sending me the information because some of this information, of course, most of it, I'll be honest, I would not know about. I can't keep up with that and keep up with my daily responsibilities and family. However, some information is really, really serious and it needs to be talked about. And so in the last 24 hours, I was made aware of a couple of assembly bills in the state of California. Now, this is not, please understand, I'm not just talking to California. What I'm about to say to you is going to apply to all the diasporans all over the world. But in California, they're called assembly bills. Assembly Bill 455 and 1102. Now, a general put out the call. A general that has been banned put out the call, and a queen, this is where I got it from, a queen took the risk and handled her business and got it out, and it got to me. These are two bills that, what I will say safely is, affects our livelihood and our choice regarding our children. It affects our ability to be semi-free, because if we were truly free, we wouldn't be suffering the way that we are. But it affects our freedom, it affects our children, and it can keep us from going through our day-to-day regimens that we go through. Assembly Bill 455 and 1102. I will ask you to Google it, but I will also tell you when you Google it, scroll down, because when you first Google it, you're going to see there's something that has nothing to do, like, why are you upset? So if you scroll down, there's another part of it. See, these assembly bills, they come out one way, but then you have to read through the fine print to find out what's hidden within. We don't have time to be playing around with these crate challenges and milk drinking challenge and dance TikTok challenge, all this stupidity that we're constantly involved in doing because we're bored, we think it's fun, for whatever reason. It's not getting us anywhere. This general spread out this information, and I have never in my life written, well, I have one time written a senator. And that was Kamala Harris, and that was regarding the Karen bill. I felt, and I still feel, that if someone calls the police on, we do have some bills like this in other states. If someone wants to utilize the race soldiers as their tool to maintain white supremacy and put us in our place, they should pay the costs. That means if something happens to us as a result of their racism and using the race soldiers to perpetrate that, not only should they be charged, yes, charged. I don't care if it's a misdemeanor. I don't care if it's a county lid, which is 1 year in a county jail, and a fine and restitution. That's what should happen. That is my opinion, that if you're going to do a hate crime by using the very slave patrol that's supposed to protect us, and you did that, and something happens, you need to be held accountable. We need to know who called, and they need to be seen in court. But I digress.
So the two things that we do the most outdoors would be hiking.
Any comment so far?
Yeah, she right about all that, man. We the only people think this a playground.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. They don't know the severity of where we at.
Right.
When you come to the scriptures, yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. We'll play some more of this.
What I'm saying is, I did right as a result of the information that I received. I sat down and I wrote 2 of my senators. I was really shocked to find this morning that one of my senators actually answered me. See, when I wrote about the Karen bill, I got no answer, but I had a cousin that wrote to the senator and received a nice thing to put on the wall, and it wasn't about any laws or any change or anything. Mine was about saving lives, and I got no response. I understand why now. It's very clear to me why I didn't get a response. It's a little bit too black, a little bit too, we don't want to make other people uncomfortable. So I did get a response. But here's what I want to say. And I'm shocked that I got a response. And I was informed last night, late last night, because believe me, at 5 o'clock, they don't leave. They're still doing their thing. It did not pass. That's the information I received. And they were trying to pass this while we are deciding whether to keep our current governor or not. Why am I talking about this? What does this have to do with you and your state? It has to do with you and your state and you and your country, because whatever happens here always, and New York is also, these are the 2 states that whatever happens in these 2 states, it spreads. So whatever happens here and is approved here, it eventually spreads throughout the country. This is why it's important for you, important for us to stop paying attention to stuff that doesn't matter and pay attention to these assembly bills. Politics is boring, but right now we are at war. And the type of war I'm talking about is not the type of war that some of you go, oh my God, she's talking, oh my God. That's not what I mean. I'm intelligent. I know what I'm saying. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that we can sit here and do nothing like we've been doing. Not all of us, but some of us. We can sit here and we could just let everything play out and end up in the same place that we've been in for umpteen years, or we can do something about it. I'm telling you, this generation right here is producing generals. Every generation that produces generals, they have done everything they could to silence them. This generation has a tool no other generation had, the internet. This generation can reach the whole world, where before, whatever you did was local or it might have made it across the country. But this is not the case here. We have to start reading. We have to start looking up things. We have to read. I don't mean just read the first few things, because had I only read the first few sentences, I would say, oh, this is nothing to worry about. This is nothing. Why is he talking about this? Then I went down further and I saw the exact same bill number, AB 455, AB 1102. I saw those exact same numbers. I went down further and that's what he's talking about. Had I not read further, I would have been like, oh man, what are you talking about, bro? You've been so right all this time. But because I respect this general, because I know this general doesn't talk out the side of his neck, because I respect this brother's teachings, I paid attention. There's very few people, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a follower. I never have been. I never follow rules. I'm a rebel. That's who I am. You tell me to go right, I go left. I mean, that's always been who I am. So if I actually listen to you, it's because I respect what you have to say. If I listen to you and I act based on what you said, you better believe I have looked at what you said to verify it before I put my foot in my mouth. I don't have all the answers, and this is not my lane. But what is my lane is the Black family, and this affects the Black family. Anything that affects the Black family is my lane. So what I'm saying to you, we have to pay attention to these bills that they're not telling us about, this legislation, all these things that they're cooking up, creating that we know nothing about until it hits. We have to be prepared. That means you're going to have to look at Al Jazeera. You're going to have to probably look at the news in another country. Listen, brothers and sisters in the diaspora, you can't believe what the American media says. We have the ability to share information. If it's legal in your country to share it, please do. UK, I get a lot of information from the UK. And we figure, oh, it's the UK, has nothing to do with us. Yes, it does. Because the European powers, the United States, that's all Mzungu land. They created it, they are in charge of it. So they might tell us something here and tell us something else, different somewhere else. When I was in Tanzania, there were some things going on in the United States that I heard in Tanzania. And then when I came back and asked about them, they were like, well, who told you that? We were told this. I said, well, I heard something different. Well, we weren't told that. I said, well, that's what I heard in Tanzania. They didn't filter it. So it's important for us to pay attention. The left wing, the right wing, you know how to finish that. I don't trust either side. When are we going to be at a place where we have no loyalty to a party, but loyalty to us as a people? When are we going to do that? Ice Cube tried to go and talk to both sides and see what he could get. And some of y'all jumped on him like he was a dirty rag. Because you had no understanding that regardless of who you like or dislike, somebody's got to give us some tangibles. Now we have zero tangibles. Zero. The Asian community have a hate crime, and
Okay.
statistics of those hate crimes, and I believe I did one talking about that too. 400 hate crimes against Asians versus 3,000 hate crimes against us per year. And this situation just started happening for them in the last year and a half. We've been going through this every year, every single year since the inception of this country. And we can't get a bill. We have gotten nothing. So what do now? You pay attention. You pay attention. You find out who knows something. You research it. You write those people. You scared? You scared to write them? That's what you pay taxes for. You're paying their salary. They're supposed to work for you. You write them. See, me, I file complaints. I filed complaints against the race soldiers. I've done it twice while I was in their yard. While I was in the car with them, I filed complaints. Why? Because at the end of the day, I'm a human being. I'm a Black woman, regardless. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care what your affiliation is. I don't care who you sleep with, how you sleep. I don't care how much money you make or don't make. At the end of the day, what enters that room is what they see. And I'm a Black woman. I'm married to a Black man, and I have Black kids and Black grandchildren. And how dare me ignore what could hurt them? You have an obligation to protect your family, and that means you need to know what's going on before it happens. Don't wait until, like some of these movies, the horn goes and you run into the store to get food and there ain't nothing on the shelves. You better pay attention, people. You better pay attention. So if I'm a little too deep and a little too passionate today, it's because this is not a game. It's not a game, family. Pay attention. You see something and it doesn't sound right to you, read the fine print. And if it's something we need to be concerned about, use that internet. Use that phone and get that information out. Write your senators. That's what all the other groups do. Look, I told you, I hang out with other people. That's what they do. When they want something done, they flood them with emails and phone calls. Emails and phone calls. Find out what's going on in your state before it hits the newspapers. Because I guarantee you, by the time it hits, it might be a little too late. Let me know what you...
Okay. Any comment?
Shalom, I do.
Okay.
She was right about paying attention to what's happening around us and also about trusting them as a joke.
Okay.
There's so many people that believe whatever they see in the media.
Right.
And they show us more through the movie industry than the media. And she was talking about writing the governor. You can write the governor. You can file all the complaints you want. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's going to take the Lord of hosts to get us out of this mess we're in.
Exactly. Supernatural.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else got any comment? Okay. There's something else right here.
And nothing here is in order. I just want to talk about a bunch of stuff. I want to start with this, though. People continue to write me that, JB, if you continue to talk about a collapse long enough, it's going to happen. Because a clock is always right twice. And sooner or later, we're going to have one. And sooner or later, you'll be right. I've been talking about this probably now for a good 3 years. And what these people don't understand is things have been collapsing around them since 2008. And over the last few years, I don't know about you, but I'm watching this economy and this country collapse daily. And another thing these people don't understand, and these are the same people that go, oh, I'm making money in the stock market. The price that this country is paying for people to make some money in the stock market is astronomical. We are going bankrupt so that a few people at the very top are making money. The average Joe, will write me and say he's making money. The 401k is up, his money market is up. But what they don't understand is tomorrow it can be vaporized. And what they don't understand is the price that this country is paying so that the value of your home is in a bubble. The value of your 401k is in a bubble. The value of your stocks are in a bubble. The price that we are paying is astronomical. And we are now beginning to see the symptoms of all this money printing, the artificial injections, the quantitative easing. And people still believe things are good because the markets are up. I want to talk about a few things today that tell me things aren't so good. Yes, markets across the board up. Dow Jones up 534 points today. Hurrah, isn't that great news? Even though we lost another 296,000 jobs, and that's supposed to be the good news because it's finally under 300,000. But
yeah, I'm gonna inject something right here. So, like I was saying before about these bankers, they musicians at this, and I was talking about how the scriptures tell us in the second Ezra how that he explained Ezra the fourth beast from another perspective than what he explained to Daniel, and he said at the very end there's gonna be 3 heads. Then he said all of a sudden that they were asleep, and these 3 heads woke up. Then all of a sudden the middle head reached and ate up the other 2 heads. And so when you look at that, like the guy saying, Esau a musician at he's a musician at numbers. They international bankers. They've been, this knowledge they've been passing this knowledge down from one generation of Edomite bankers to another one. They know how to set up an illusion. So you got China over here and Russia over here, and you understand Esau running both of them. And he knows just how to bring it down. Like I said, even with America, we see him at work with right here doing a slow demo job on America. Well, he's gonna do the same thing with your other 2 countries. Like he said, we over here in the illusion because we go and looking at the stock market, but look at everything around you. Look at the shelves empty, and the got shifts backed up in there. Everything else showing you there's something wrong, but the stock market instead of telling you everything good when it ain't good. And that's what Esau Pro hit, and that's what he's using right now to come into power. Because like I said, the scriptures is right there when the 2 boys was born. He said Jacob grabbed a hold of Esau's heel. And the sign was Esau the end of this world, Jacob beginning of the next world. But you look around, ain't nobody got to see no signs of no Esau. He there, but nobody don't see no signs of it. They trying to factor all this. They trying to factor in this manufactured end time events that these Edomites have concocted. And they can't see Esau. They don't know that Esau he the one, all the minor prophets talking about him in the latter days. Any comments on that before I move on, before I put this back on? Okay.
But more than likely it will be revised, and next week it'll be back over 300,000 with the revision. But we just had 4.3 million people quit their jobs in August. Something doesn't add up here, ladies and gentlemen, but everything's okay because the markets are up, even though I continue to see nothing but bad news in the real economy and in the real world. I was at McDonald's yesterday, got a vanilla iced coffee, as I do a couple times a week, and I opened up the straw. The straw was half the size of a normal straw. The dimension was half the size of a normal straw. A week ago, I got a normal straw when I got my iced coffee. Yesterday, the straw, it was half the dimension of a normal straw. We have the BNP tennis tournament out here right now, one of the biggest tennis tournaments in the entire world. It's a ghost town, an absolute ghost town. Oil right now, $81.69. But markets across the border are doing phenomenal, right? But you're going to go to the grocery store today or tomorrow, and you're going to pay more for meat, more for pork, more for fish, more for vegetables, more for fruits. You're going to pay more at the pump. You're paying more in rent, more for health care costs, more for an education. But the markets are up, so isn't that the good news? I think people are going to figure out some point that The stock market and the real economy have detached. There is no relationship.
Exactly.
And a few people in these markets are laughing all the way to the bank while you pay for it. But don't worry about inflation. Don't worry about shortages. It's all going to be okay, ladies and gentlemen, because corporate earnings outweighed fear today, supposedly, right? So now we have corporate earnings up. How many of these are zombie companies? And how many of these corporations and banks got all the money at the top of the pyramid, got all the opportunity? Banks borrowing money for what? 0.3%? Yet you're paying 21% on your credit card, 19%, 27% on your credit card. But Bank of America's up, corporations are up. They're getting all the help. You're not. And people are going to figure it out sooner or later. And many of them are beginning to figure it out now. So here we are. U.S. Open stars fall at Indian Wells, which struggles to draw a crowd. And as I drove by today, I was shocked to see the fields empty. No cars. They have these. This is a real big.
Okay, any comments? Okay. Yeah, so yeah, like I said before, Esau, he a musician at that. He got us fooled. Same way he got us fooled with the New Testament. So right here, I'm gonna open it up for some anybody got any questions or comments about anything they've been dealing with over the weekend or something they came across while they was studying or on the internet. Any questions, comments? Okay. Yeah, so on several occasions I told you about this book. Let me show it to you again before I play this. Okay. Here we go. So you go to the book right here. You get that. It's like a second Bible. It's David Icke, Biggest Secret. I think I got this used. It's like I think I got it for like $8-9 used. Yeah, so it's like what's in here is right in, it's in the pages of the Bible. He's just breaking it down from a modern standpoint. Yeah, so you get an opportunity and grab one of those. I think the first chapter in there is about serpents, serpentine beings, and you know how they operate. Everybody talking about the jab. That's where the jab coming from. These serpentine beings. See what I need to do. Okay, let me play that. We're gonna play it, and then we're just gonna break it down as it goes.
On conspiracy theorists, exposure of governmental truths, also renegade social commentators. Disclaimer, and I don't usually disclaim my videos, this is important. I do not, we do not, my companies do not endorse anything here that David Icke shares. David is exercising his freedom of speech. He went down some very controversial rabbit holes. Do your own research. We asked him about the financial system, who runs the world, capitalism. Actually, David calls it cartelism. David also talks about Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, the billionaires, the big social media platforms, and the Hunger Games society that he thinks we are in. So some major revelations coming in this interview. But first, make sure you like this video, turn the notification bell on, and subscribe to the channel. David, thanks a lot for being a guest again on the show. Really grateful to you. I wanted to talk maybe more specifically this time round on money and the money system. There's obviously a lot of changes going on to the money system, the taxation, Who do you think, David, controls the financial system, and how does the financial system work?
It all comes down in the end, in terms of these society controlling institutions, to what I call the global cult, which is a global network of secret societies and semi-secret groups with ultimately, if you go deep enough in the rabbit hole, a mission control, a central organizational center. This explains why countries tend to respond to the same kind of situations in extraordinarily the same way. The thing is, if you're talking about control and the need to control, then you look at society as it's structured, and control is overwhelmingly dictated by money. Who has it and who doesn't? And if you look at a definition of freedom, well, it's choice. The more choices you can make, the freer you are. The fewer choices you can make, the less free you are. And in the way that society is structured today, what dictates choice more than anything than money? Who has it and who doesn't? So I hear people talk about how the billionaires and the billionaire corporations, etc., are all about money. But, well, yes, on one level, they have a mentality that is as an insatiable greed. But the bottom line of bottom lines is not about accumulation of money. It's accumulation of control via the weapon of money. And when you look at how this cult, in all its different expressions, brought in the money system to what it is today, it's founded on creating money out of nothing called credit and charging interest on it. You know, you go into a bank and you say, borrow £100,000. Well, in theory, well, the bank doesn't do anything in terms of moving precious metal around or any of this stuff. It puts into your account £100,000 called credit that has never, does not, and will never exist except in theory. And then it says, for doing that, we're going to charge you interest. And if you don't pay back the principal and the interest on credit, then we are going to take your wealth that does exist, your house, your business, your land, whatever.
Okay. Any comment so far? Like you said, they're making he's telling you how they created the banking system. Like I said, these Edomites is they're musicians. They created JC out of thin air. And they're telling you how you go to the bank and get a loan for $100,000. They don't give you no money. They give you money. They create out of that thin air. And then if you don't pay it back, they actually getting tangible stuff that you can put your hands on. But they gave you money. They didn't have to do nothing. They just typed it in and typed out, transferred it from them, typed it in and put it in your account. It's money out of thin air. And so we're gonna deal with that right there, because this ain't just started. This is what Esau was doing all in Europe. These Edomites, when they left in 70 AD from Israel, they went to Europe. They was ran out of every country they was in. That's why they was looking for a land far away to go to. And they sent those 3 ships out by Columbus, because they had got ran out of every country. They was going there robbing the people. And they're doing the same thing now with these payday loans. They go from one place to the next. And before you know it, they got all the people wealth. And the people don't have nothing. They done got all their wealth through what he's telling you right here. And to the point now where they got all the money, the world's money, like the Rothschilds. They got everybody's money, but the thing about it is They got a hidden agenda. They're the ones that the scenario you see all the churches dealing with in the New Testament, they created that scenario. And that's what everybody following, but that ain't what the Most High said was gonna happen. But they going by what these people have concocted over in the New Testament. And they got the money to make it happen in front of your face. That's what I was saying. It's two end times. We know that. It's two Israels. And then you don't understand all that, you're gonna be all twisted all up. It's two Israels, two 10 tribes, two Enochs, two Lamechs. You know, and you have to understand all that. Okay.
Even in theory, when you go to a bank and you get a loan, you will borrow £100,000 in theory, and they will put £100,000 into your account. But you're not paying back £100,000. You're paying back £100,000 plus interest. The interest is never created, only the principal, even in this theoretical way. And thus, by design, not accident, there is never at any point enough units of exchange, money, in whatever form it takes, in circulation to pay back all the principal on the debt outstanding and all the interest on the debt outstanding. So absolutely included in the way it's structured is that people are going to lose their homes, they're going to lose their businesses because there's not enough money in circulation to pay back all the debt and all the interest on the debt. Now, when you have an expansion of the money supply and you have what we call a boom, what that means is, of course, that there's lots of money, theoretical, etc., in circulation. So there's more to spend on things. So companies need to make more things and provide more services because of the demand. And with that expansion, you can hide in the Peter pays Paul method the fact that there's not enough money in circulation to pay back all the interest on the debt and all the principal. But when, and this is done systematically by that which is behind the banking system, they start withdrawing money from circulation, like in 2008, the credit crunch. They just stopped giving out loans of money that only exist.
So let's look at that. He said 2008. So like I was telling you, they brought drama in 2001. 6 years plus one, 2008, 7 years. So they playing the role of the creator. They operating off of what he told Israel, 6 years, and 6 years you work till the ground and work the ground, and the 7th year is a year of release. They operating under the Most High's system. So 2001, they wrecked everything. Then 6 years passed. Then the 7th year came. Is when they brought all the drama with the 2008 with the banks and Goldman Sachs. Then they turned around, did it again in 2015. So 2022, look what we see happening now. So they get your money, they give you all this stuff, and then they come and wreak havoc where you can't pay it, and they get all the stuff. And that's what was happening to them all over Europe. They ran them out of Europe. And so we don't know that side of it. That's how America came into existence. These Edomites looking for somewhere to go, to run to. That's how they ended up over here. Running. The most I got, I showed you in Ezekiel 37. Let me read it. Ezekiel 35. It says right here, Ezekiel 35. This is how they got away with posing as Israelites up until recently, until the Most High woke us up. I'm in Ezekiel 35. Okay. Let me read that right quick. It says, 35:1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. Mount Seir is Edom, and say unto it, Thus says the Lord God, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. And I will lay thy cities, and I will lay thy cities to waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that they were their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord God, I will prepare unto thee blood. Blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain by the sword. And I will make thee perpetual desolation, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast said, these two nations, that's the southern Israel and the Judah, these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of the hatred against them, and I will make thee known among them when I have judged thee. So that's what we living in, and that's how we came over here. Because they was ran out of from one country to another one in Europe, or when they left in 70 AD from Israel, and then they found this place over here. They sent Columbus over there, had heard about it. And they came over here and they found this place. And then we know all the atrocities they done to the Indian over here. And they found this place. Then they needed some people. So, like he just said, they think Israel belonged to them. They think Judah and Benjamin and the 10 tribes belong to them. So they went and got them on ships and brought them over here. They behind. They're the ones on the slave ships. They're the ones on the plantations. And that's how they got all the money to the point where now where they running the world. They're behind the scenes though.
Shalom.
Okay.
The Lord of hosts loves judgment and hates robbery.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. So he said that he said they've been pursuing Jacob and been doing all this stuff to Jacob since the time of their calamity. Let me read that. Let me find. He says, let me get it. Yeah, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. So ever since that time of the calamity till this day, they've been pursuing after Israel. That's what it's hatred that we keep on talking about. Why people hate us so much. It's this hatred right here, Esau. So let's go look at it. Obadiah. Okay, in the wrong direction. Obadiah. So you're gonna come to find out this is word for word. So in Obadiah chapter 1, verse 12. But thou should not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger, neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, and neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of their distress, right? Thou should not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. There it is. And ye should not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of that's when they stole the land of Israel that nobody seems to know nothing about. In 143 BC, during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, they stole land from that point on until 70 AD. That's them in the land of Israel, posing as Israelites. And then, like I said, they was kicked out and they went into Europe. And they started robbing and stealing over there from one country is kicking them out of one country to the next. Ezekiel 35 is on them, and to the point where they all ended up in Spain, where Herod's lineage was sent to, or Queen Isabella and all them, and they sent ships to over here across the water. They're looking for land somewhere to go to get the heat off their back. The Europeans was knocking them off. We seen what Hitler did to them, and then that's where it all started. They ended up over here. Then they needed slaves to build the place up. Like I said, then the prophecies of Deuteronomy 28 came into play, and like I said, they masters at the banking system. They masters at it. Any comments? I'm gonna let some more play.
Hey, Leonard.
Yeah.
You know, when they separated church and state, and you know, these black churches was taking in, the black pastors taking in all this tithing money,
Right.
and they deposited it in the bank, and that money go toward white supremacy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And then they getting a cut off every time they pass that plate around on Sundays in all them churches. They sending some of that money to somewhere else.
Exactly.
They end up right there with Esau, and then people wonder how we can, why we in the predicament we in, because we funding the whole thing.
Right.
That's how slick Esau is. Right. Mm-hmm.
In theory called credit crunch, people couldn't service their debt. They couldn't pay back their bills, and thus it becomes painfully obvious in a recession, in a downturn, that there's not enough money in circulation to pay back all the interest and all the principal on the debt. And so this is a process that's gone on since this form of banking started,
right,
where you expand the economy, and what happens in that time, people take out more loans, they get more confident, they maybe expand their business because of demand, they maybe buy a bigger house, they maybe have 2 holidays a year instead of 1, and so on. These are the good times. But what's happening there from the banking system point of view, the whole, is the fishing line is going out. And then they start taking money out of circulation. So there's not enough, as there was before, to buy the things that generated the boom, that generated the need to loan more money to meet the demand of the boom. And the fishing line then goes back in. And what's happening is in this process all the way through is that there has been a constant exchange through this boom-bust cycle of real wealth in exchange for fresh air money called credit. And this is a massive, massive foundation reason why we talk today about the 1%. When you have literally a handful of people who have equivalent wealth to the poorest half of the global population, and it's not based on reality. It's based on this manipulating of the money system. Where they want to go with the cryptocurrency is turn it into a one world currency. In which what has been happening in the background provision, this manipulation, has gone on public display. You, your kids and grandkids are going to be living in a global fascist dictatorship of total 24-hour surveillance control. If you don't want that to happen, get off your frickin' ass.
Hey, it's Rob. I hope you're enjoying the interview so far. Now, unfortunately, we were forced to take out quite a lot of the content. David Icke has been cancelled and booted off most social media channels. I don't want my account shut down, but I've got some good news for you, and this is a brand new first. I have a premium content platform called rob.team. And if you subscribe to that, I'm going to give you access to all the edited out, the full length version of this David Icke discussion. We do rob.team meetups. We have exclusive private content, and the link is in the description below. So now let's get back to the interview with David Icke. Most of the globe is under a capitalist system.
No, it's not. It's a cartelist system.
Okay, so definitely would love to come to that. The system that we know of, that we think we're under, capitalism, is that the problem, or is the problem how the system is being used? And then could you talk about this cartelist system? That would be interesting.
Yeah, well, no, this is the point. You know, this gets kind of frustrating when you observe the terms that are used. For instance, the woke mentality is called liberal. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the way I tell them. It's the most illiberal mentality you'll ever come across in your life. You know, it's fascism more than liberalism. But then you hear this anti-capitalism, down with capitalism. Well, it would be nice if we had it. What we have is cartelism. If you take an example like Facebook, take Amazon, take many of these companies. They are cult companies. They were created with cult money, which was limitless. And so what happens is they are built up to become monopolists. And in their developmental period, they are allowed to lose loads of money. Look at Amazon, for goodness sake, loads of money year after year, phenomenal amounts of money, because they're building a monopoly. And so you then reach the point where you have your near monopoly and you start to make vast amounts of money. And at that point, you can start dictating the odds. You know, this is why suddenly, after we had a free internet, now YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Google, etc., are involved in the most extreme hysterical censorship, which is simply digital book burning that the Nazis engaged in. And what you're doing is you have these companies being built up with CIA money in terms of Facebook, etc. And they are competing against other companies. You could call them genuinely capitalist companies that have entrepreneurs that are using their creativity. But those other companies they're competing with do have to watch the bottom line. They can't go on losing money year on year on year. And so they're under a tremendous disadvantage to these coal companies that have a limitless cash flow until they don't need it anymore because they dominate the market. And then what happens, and we've seen this with Facebook and so many others, is when other companies come along, they just buy them up. When the competition comes along, they buy them up and they take them over. And they basically have no competition in the end, worse the name. And that's cartelism. When you see groups within the same financial area, be they oil companies, be they social media companies, be they banks, whatever, moving as one unit to control the market. That's not capitalism. That's communism. That's centralization of control. And when you have your other cult-created organizations like
yeah, so you notice he keeps saying cult. So all this stuff coming, when you understand who Esau is, you know, he was in Egypt. Like I was telling you, when you start dealing with, when this information start coming out, you find out that when they created the New Testament, it's part of Egyptian Book of the Dead, Jesus' Horus. Then you got they were dealing with Buddhism when Alexander was stopped his conquest. It stopped in India. They were dealing with Buddhism first. Then they was in Egypt, and then those Essenes are Edomites. So all this stuff that we're dealing with today is all the places that Esau went. Then he put it all together like a big gumbo, and that's how you get the New Testament. So I want to shine light on some more things about it. Because when he's talking about the banking system and this coat and Amazon and all that, these Edomites and the mass, all the money. But I want to read in Leviticus how they did it and what Cynthia said earlier about the Most High loves judgment and he hates robbery. Esau is a robber, and that's why he hates Esau, because he's a robber. So I'm in Leviticus 25, and I'm starting at verse 35. So what everything he's talking about in this video, which I mean you want to watch it, is David Icke exposes secret code who control the world. That's Rothschilds and Edomites. So usury. I don't know if anybody heard that word before, but usury. That's what he told the Israelites that they couldn't do. You can't loan money to somebody with interest on it. That's wicked as hell. Well, he was raised by Abraham just like Jacob was. He was in the presence of Abraham. He was in the presence of Isaac. So, but he chose to use his usury. This is what caused him to get kicked out of all those countries. He was using his usury on people until that usury ends up today. That's the core part of what you call the bank. A bank. The bank can make its money off usury, which is against what the Most High said. So I'm gonna read some of it. I'm in Leviticus 25:35. It says, "And if thy brother be waxing poor," that's what happened. That's why you got all these little loan companies, payday loan companies. It says, "And if thy brother be waxing poor and fallen into decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him." See that? Leave him, yea, thou, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Take thou no usury of him. See that? That means don't give him nothing with no interest on it. Can't do that. He says, this 36, Leviticus 25:36. Take thou no usury of him or increase, but fear thy God. So if you taking usury, you don't fear the Lord of hosts, that thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy vestures for increase. I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan, and to be yours, your God. And if thy brother that dwelleth in by thee be waxing poor and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant. See, that's the transatlantic slave trade right here. Let me read it again. I am the Lord your God, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt, and give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God. And if thy brother that dwelleth with thee be waxing poor and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant. Ain't that Deuteronomy 28:68? And right in a nutshell. What we come to find out that there was our Esau, there was Jacob's brother that was running the slave ship. He did everything the Most High said don't do, he done it. 40 says, but as a hired servant and as a sojourner, he shall be with thee and shall serve thee until the year of Jubilee, like I was telling you about. The year of Jubilee, that's how the Most High operate. He operating like that. He using usury and he using Most High system. You can't do nothing but stack up some money. But it's a cost to that though. So 41, and then shall he depart from thee, but he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his father shall he return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt, and they shall not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear thy Lord thy God. He doing just out. So that's Leviticus 25. You can start at verse 35 and read all the way to 54. You know, like I said, it's real time, right there in your face. Deuteronomy 28. Dots being connected right here. You can see who the culprit is, and you can see, you know, what the Most High already told them pertaining to usury and pertaining to slaves. So yeah, and that's why it's so wicked as hell, and that's the reason why that was already prophesied on us way back during the time of Moses in Deuteronomy 32, when Moses Song of Moses. Yeah. So anybody got any comments on that? Anything so far? Any questions, comments, or interjections?
Did he also have an insurance policy on Jacob on them slaves? I mean, I'm asking.
Oh! I thought you said that the Lord owes that.
No.
Oh yeah.
On them slaves. Yeah, I always heard he had a insurance.
Yeah. He had an insurance policy on him.
Yeah.
He's making money hand over fist all kind of ways off of us.
Right.
Yeah, and we see now from what I just read, all of it was wicked as hell. But he ain't do it by default. He knew he was raised by Abraham and Isaac just like Jacob was. He knew what was wrong, what was right, and he knew who the people was that he had on the boats. And like I said, it's repercussions to that. We starting to see it manifest itself already. We can see our captivity starting to be turned. And notice what I just read. I'm gonna read that again. So notice what he said. Okay, we saw the part where he told him you can't sell your brother as a bondman, but he did. But he also said, 41. He says, and then shall he depart. See that? He said, after you do all that to him, then shall he depart from thee. That's what we're witnessing. Both he and his children with him, and shall return to his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. Ain't that what Deuteronomy, Jeremiah 29:14 said?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's right here in the law in Leviticus. What's gonna happen to us? You know, it's over here in Jeremiah and all that, but it's also right here in the law in Leviticus. It's telling you what the outcome is, who it is that's doing it, what the outcome is, everything right here in Leviticus 25, 35 through 54. 55. Yeah. So like I was saying before, what I'm gonna do right here. Anybody else got any comments? Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna just read some verses in here where, like I said, people want to say that Jesus Christ, JC, supposed to be the Messiah, but every time the Most High get opportunity to let you know who the Messiah is, he keeps saying David. You don't say Jesus, you say David. So I'm gonna show you right here who the culprit is. The Most High tell you who he is, but we don't, because of the version they gave us, we can't really be looking over it. So first place I'm gonna go is Obadiah, right quick. And then should know this verse by now, but I'm gonna go there right quick. And it says, remember the Most High hate robbery. So verse 5 says, if thieves came to thee and robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Will they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape grabbers came to thee, will they not leave some grapes? Then 6, you give the answer. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? So we show right here who the culprit is, who robbed Israel. It's Esau. And then we go over here to the same in Obadiah, but I'm in 17, verse 17 says, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be a holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions, and the house of Jacob, to that the house of Jacob shall be a fire, the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them. See that? We know why now he's gonna devour them. So he gonna leave a remnant of the Gentiles, but he says right here, and they devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau. For the Lord hath spoken it. So he's gonna have a remnant of the Gentiles, but he's gonna wipe out Esau. See that? And then we go to Malachi, right here. Malachi, he tells the same thing. He says, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, said the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. And I laid his mountains and his heritage to waste for the dragons of the wilderness. And give one more verse. Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66 says, verse 5. I'm going to start at verse 1. I'm going to verse 5, though. Thus says, this is the future. It's in the future. Go back to when they was born. You know, Jacob, Esau came out first. And then Jacob had to grab his heel. So it says, thus said the Lord, the heavens is my throne, the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye have built unto me? And where is this place of my rest? For all those things have my hands made, and all those things have been, said the Lord. But to this man will I look, even to him who is a poor and a contrite spirit, and trembles at my word. He that kills an ox is as if he slew a man, and he that sacrifices a lamb as if he cut off a dog's neck. He that offers an oblation as if he offered swine's blood. He that burneth the incense as if he blessed the idol. Yea, they have chosen their own ways, and their soul delighteth in their abominations. I also will choose their delusions, and will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear. But they did evil before mine eyes, and chose that which I delighted not. But here goes the verse right here. Verse 5 says, hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word, your brethren. See that? That hated you. That's Esau. That cast you out for my name's sake. Like I said before, this ain't something I concocted when I'm telling you that the Israelites was kicked out in 143. They was kicked out in 143C, and Esau stole the land, and this is the reason they stole it. He says, hear ye the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at your word, your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake. They want the Lord of hosts. They want the Lord of hosts. They want to possess the land and to possess the Lord of hosts because he dwell there. It says, for my name's sake, and said, let the Lord be glorified. See that? But in the latter days, when he come back, he shall appear to our joy, and they shall be ashamed. So this, like I was saying before, it's all through the scriptures. He telling you about Esau, but we can't read it right because the script been hoodwinked. The narrative been changed. We can't see it. So like I said before, when you say usury and you understand what usury means, the first thing should go off in your head is bank. So that's who's running the world. That's who's been manipulating it from time immemorial, is these Illuminati, these bankers. Like I said, they're the same ones that was in it was bankers that killed Julius Caesar, because he was giving all the people he was giving money to the poor, going into the treasury in the Roman Empire, giving money to the poor. And these Edomites, they wasn't with that. So he was turning the economy, he was turning everything from the direction that they wanted. So they killed him. They got together and killed him in the Senate. And then we see when JC came, when Caesarion came, he was he went off because they was the ones sitting there selling all those goats and rams and lambs to the people at the temple. That temple was a temple that Herod built. He built that temple to Julius Caesar. There wasn't no temple to Yah. The temple to Yah had been destroyed. So they were sitting there when Caesarion came up there and turned all the tables over and flipped everything over because those were the same people that had killed his father. Yeah. So yeah. And any comments on that? Like I said, it do you some good to get that book. It's called The Biggest Secret by David Icke. Yeah. He goes in. The thing I like about it is he goes into depth about these reptilians. Another name for it. I mean, like I said, I don't know how much information or how much digging you've done, but it got a group of people called intelligentsia. And like I said, a lot of people ain't heard that, but that's like I said, these fallen angels. They super intelligent, and they was they couldn't have seen. They went into the women and couldn't have seen back up. That's who the intelligentsia is. They the ones, behind, like I said, the technology and these big old leaps of technology that mankind have done is these fallen angels gave it to them. And what they wanted was that they wanted, these people, these Gentiles, to give them women, young girls and gold and young boys in exchange for knowledge. That's been going on for forever and a day. Yeah. So check that out, because don't take my word for it. It's called intelligentsia. A lot of people say this and that about that word, but when you do your research, you find out that's what intelligence is. It's a remnant. Most High left a remnant. You go to watch the movie 600. King Leonidas, he got jacked up and he went up in the side of this mountain, up on top of this mountain, to go see these. It was, like I said, they always duplicate the Most High. 7 of them in this cave. And they got, they was waiting on him. He went up there with a bunch of young girls and gold and gave it to him, got some advice for him what to do with the Greeks. With the Persians, they was coming and they wanted advice on how to deal with them. And so they was up there in this cave with what they call it, leprosy, sores all over them, leprosy, pale, and with togas on. And like I said, they put all this stuff right there in the movie because they didn't do their research, and they giving you just the hardcore reality of what you actually looking at history when you watch those movies, because they ain't trying to hide it. They want it to be as real as possible. Yeah. Okay. Any comments before we get up out of here? Everybody good?
All good.
Yeah. So we're gonna. I'm gonna say before I go, I want to. We got the men's line tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Anybody want to do the Psalms or?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. With that being said, let me excuse me. Get this right quick. Okay. Shalom. I see everybody. I see everybody else on Wednesday, but I see the men's tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Okay.